All right, welcome back to the channel. Been on a little hiatus again. I've been really busy or really lazy, one of the two. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little something different today. As you can see here, I've got some Donruss, 1990 Donruss. And brings me back to my childhood. You know how that is. So let's see what kind of steroid users we can get this time around with the 1990 Donruss. Oh boy. I'm gonna go this way, I think. Ooh. Look at these things. Old school. Here we go. Gonna be some crap in here. That's what it is. High produced crap. Puzzle piece. Glenn Hoffman. Oh my goodness, and this is in cursive. Cecilio, I don't even know who that is. Andy Bennis, wow. Rated rookie. Dave Martinez. At least it's in cursive. Is that Burns? Willie Wilson? Lenny Harris? Chuck Carey? Dennis Lamp? Jeff Robinson? Gus Polidor? Brewer legend, Gus Polidor. Mark Williamson? Kelly Gruber? Diamond Kings checklist, beautiful, and Vince Coleman. Oh. All right. Brian Holton, Ed Whitson, Paul Sorrento, Manny Lee, Jerry Reed, Kirby Puckett, Dan Gladden, Roy Smith, Nelson Liriano, Scott Burke, Bankhead, Kurt Wilkerson, Terry Kennedy, Gary Reedus, Tony Castillo, Joe Oliver, another Brewer legend. Jeff Robinson, Mark Williamson, Gus Polidor again, Kelly Gruber, checklist, Willie McGee, Les Lancaster, Mark Guthrie, Billy Hatcher, Guillermo Hernandez. I think that's Willie Hernandez. Didn't know his whole name was Guillermo. Rick Shue. Wow. What? Daniel Ernest Schatzeder. What? Who the hell is that? Oh, there's the puzzle. Carl Yastrzemski. Kelly Mann rated rookie. Huge. Let's see if we can get a Juan Gonzalez air card in here. Kenny Rogers Chicken. Jim Gott. Mike Kingery. Greg Swindell. Kevin Bass, checklist. There he is. A. Bartlett Giamatti. Oh, yeah. He deserves to go right there. Right on the stage. Tommy Herr. Mark Knudsen. Jim Traber. Junk Wax Sal. One of his favorites. Edwin Nunez. Rick Dempsey. Dave Winfield. Rod Nichols. And Gene Nelson. Wow. There he is. Mitch Williams gives up the home run to Joe Carter. Do you think he knows it then? He's going to be a Philly. Look at his face. He has no idea that he's going to blow the World Series. Kirby Puckett. Andres Thomas. Todd Benzinger. Roger McDowell. Gary Templeton. Rafael Ramirez. Darryl Strawberry. Eric Anthony. Look at all these rated rookies that panned out. Kenny Rogers. Ryan Sandberg. Tom Foley. Terry Steinbach. Frank White. Tom Candiotti. Knuckleball. Tom Candiotti, the old knuckleballer. It's always good. Might as well have it stick to the pack, you know. Mike Devereaux. Kevin Hickey. What a name. Chris Carpenter. I don't think that's the same Chris Carpenter that I know. Johnny Ray. Kirby Puckett. Mike Devereaux. Here we go. Dan Gladden. Roy Smith. Nelson Liriano. Scott Bankhead. Marvell Wynn. Awesome. Brett Butler. Andy Van Slyke. Tommy Gregg. Eric Davis. And there he is. Mark Parent. Mark Parent. Looking to pull some bangers here, like maybe a Stan Javier or somebody of that ilk. Tracy Jones, Von Hayes. Wow. Glenn Allen Hill. Gary Ward. Franklin Stubbs. Awesome. Mike Tiny Felder. Mike Sharperson. Mel Hall. Willie Frazier. Gerald Clark. Eric Davis. Brian Holton. Ed Whitson. Paul Sorrento. Manuel Lee. Wish these packs would open a lot better than they do. Terry Leach. Dean Palmer. Pat Combs. Wow. Mike Stanley. Sweet. What a name. Andy McGaffigan. Wow. Yes, we got him. Awesome. I better get... Let's see here. Stan Javier. Nobody's better than Stan Javier. Rick Lucan. Bud Black. Tim Cruz. Greg Cadaret. Jeez Louise. Eric Hetzel. Mike Brumbley. Jerry Royce. Glenn Davis. Larry Walker. Is that his rookie? Larry Walker. I'll take him. I know 55 is not his normal number, so it's got to be a very early card. Let's take a look here. It looks like it is. It's only got 1 year on his card. Willie Randolph. Alvaro Espinosa. Johnny Ray. Marty Barrett. Kirby Puckett. Mike Devereaux. Dan Gladden. Roy Smith. Scott Bankhead. Marvell Wynn. Brett Butler. Andy Van Slyke. Tommy Gregg. And there's Eric Davis. Damaged in the corner. If you guys want to tell me what kind of old school product you liked opening, or maybe want me to try to find and open at a reasonable price. Jerry Reed, Curtis Wilkerson, Terry Kennedy, Gary Reedus, Joe Oliver, Tony Castillo, Kevin Hickey, Chris Carpenter, Todd Froworth, Fernando Valenzuela, Sean Hilligus, Rick Leach, Rance Mullenix, nice glasses, dude, and stash. Checklist, Pete Harnish. These packs suck to open. They don't rip nice. Taking too long. Ken Daly, Von Hayes, Corey Schneider, Bobby Thigpen, Cecil Espy, Jack Howell, Kevin Gross, Hendu, Dave Henderson, Jim Eisenreich, Tourette syndrome. He battled, made it. John Farrell, Ellis Burks, Mike Boddicker, Don Slott, Jeff Blauser, David Cohn, and Phil Bradley. Well, so far so good. A lot of good stuff in here, huh? Where's my Juan Gonzalez? Where's my Jose Canseco? Where's Mark McGuire? Where are all these Reuters? Lance Johnson, Billy Schroeder, The Rock. Shout out to Dave. He loves The Rock. Danny Darwin, John Costello, Dickie Thon. Sweet. Look at that stash. Jack Armstrong, Joey Cora, Atlee Hamaker, Rick Reed. No idea how to say his name. Francis Nazelic. Wow. Who the hell is this guy? Goes by Andy, apparently. Because he doesn't want to go by Francis. Are you kidding me? Mark Grace, Sid Fernandez, Billy Swift, Pat Borders, Carmen Castillo. Ooh, that one opened a lot better. Here he is, Ozzie Gillen, or Gian, if you prefer. Al Leiter. He got a Yan BJ. Can you see that? Wow. Shane Raleigh. Steve Sachs. Oh, Staxy boy. Barry Lyons. Mike Harkey. John Kangalosi. I can talk. Eric Shaw. Ronnie Robinson. Awesome. Chuck Hayes. Mark Portugal. Jose De Leon. Carlos Martinez. Tony Armas. And Mike Jeffcoat. Not to be confused with Jeffcoat. Oops, hit the thing. Oh. Tom Pagnozzi, Jeff Pico train, Greg Harris, Oil Can Boyd, sweet. Randy Velarde, Mark Lemke, Tim Teufel, Mark Thurmond, Don Paul, Jim Deshays, Why would he ever get a Diamond King card? Luis Quinones, Lee Mazzilli, John Moses, shout out Sal, Junk Wax, Scott Bradley, and a murderer, Julio Machado. There he is. At least he's a rated rookie. So he's got that going for him. He can hold that in the prison cell while he's in there for murder. My Mark Parent, Ken Bailey, Von Hayes, Corey Schneider, Bobby Thigpen, Cecil SB, Jack Howell, Kevin Gross, Dave Henderson, Jim Eisenreich, John Farrell, Ellis Burks, Mike Boddicker, Don Slott, Jeff Blauser. Seemed like I had that pack already. Wonder if that's going to happen more. I'm going to go with yes. They don't call it overprinted for nothing. David Cohn, Phil Bradley, Steve Rosenberg. He's your pitcher / accountant. Sweet Lou Whitaker, Chris Sabo, Greg Gagne, Jimmy Key, Harold Reynolds. Look at all these. Mike Fetters. Look at that guy. Awesome. Paul Kilgus, Greg Jeffries, Glenn Braggs, Don Robinson, Rafael Belliard. I think he deserves to go up there as well. He's got like one career homer. Can we see him on there even? I don't even know. Yeah, I think we can. All right. What a stage so far. Highlighted by A. Bartlett Giamatti. Best known as suspending Pete Rose. Little known fact. Or a known fact. Who knows? His son is an actor. And for the life of me, I can't think of his name. Something Giamatti. Oh, it's Paul Giamatti. Alvin Davis. Will Clark. Will the Thrill. Bill Doran. Devon White. Mike Bielecki. Why? Jerome Walton. O to B. McDowell. What a name. Jose Uribe. Sid Bream. Faster than... Look at that. He just screams fast. Look at that knee brace. Chris James. Ron Oyster. Or Orster. Mike Maddox. Wow. Craig Biggio. Terry Pendleton. Dick. We got Dick. Schofield. Yvonne Calderon. Do-do-do-do. There's the Yaz. Look at him. Nice face. Here's the accountant. Sweet Lou, Chris Sabo, Greg Gagne, Jimmy Key, Harold Reynolds, Mike Fetters, Paul Kilgus, Mike Stanley. Nice mustache. Kevin Mitchell. Pascual Perez. Beautiful. Eric King. Bert Blyleven. Gerald Young, Todd Worrell, and Lenny Dykstra. Nails. There he is. La 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 la. Still no Juan Gonzalez. What about a Julio Franco? What about the package sticking to the... It's almost like these are 35 years old. Look at that. There's the top of his head. Tom Browning. Mark Davis. Steve Bedrosian. Bobby Bowe. Still getting paid. Derek Lilliquist. Lloyd McClendon. Randy Myers. Randy Myers. Mike Schooler. Mike Flanagan. Gary Wayne. Chris Bosio. How does he get a Diamond King? Dwayne Ward. Juan Berenger. I can't say his name. Ron Darling. Johnny Smoltz and Jerome Walton for those Cubbies that nobody likes. Oops, did I say that out loud? La 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 la. Odaby McDowell, Jose Uribe, Sid Bream, Chris James, Greg Biggio, Dick, Jeff Russell, awesome, Greg Vaughn. These are nice and center too, see? Beautiful, beautiful. All right, sorry, Rafael Belliard. We're going to cover you up with Greg Vaughn. Tim Burke. Dave Parker, rest in peace, sir. Danny Tartable, Mike Sosha, Dave Rigetti. How old were you in 1990? I was, I don't know if I want to comment on how old I was. But Alex Sanchez was a rated rookie. Wallace Johnson, Felix Jose, sweet. Jim Aker, Mike Davis, Luis Polonia, sexual assaultist, Wes Gardner, Doug Strange, Dave Schmidt, Jeff Peturik. Wow. John Smoltz, Checklist, Vince Coleman, Mitch Williams, Kirby Puckett, Andres Thomas. All right, I was 13 in 1990. Getting ready to go to high school. Ugh. It's been a long time. If you could give the video a like and a subscribe, that'd be great. Ben, talking to you. Make sure you like it. Vance Law, Jeff Musselman, Don August, Candy Maldonado, Jim Gott, Mike Kingery, Greg Swindell, Kevin Bass, Checklist, Bart Giamatti, Champion, Tommy Herr, Mark Knutson, Jim Traber, Edwin Nunez, Rick Dempsey, Dave Winfield. Well, we're probably about a little over half done with this. This crap. The crap. Probably could make that puzzle of Yaz, though, after this, huh? You'd think. Rod Nichols, Gene Nelson, Dean Palmer, Terry Leach, Pat Combs, Mike Stanley, Andy McGaffigan. Awesome. Awesome. Another one. Stan Javier. Bud Black, Tim Cruz, Greg Cataray, Eric Hetzel, Mike Brumbley, Jerry Royce. Todd Benzinger, Roger McDowell, Gary Templeton, Rafael Ramirez, Daryl Strawberry, Coke. That one's actually centered. Coke is a wonderful drug. I'm kidding. Coke is not good for you. Tom Foley, Terry Steinbach, Frank White, Tom Candiati, Willie Randolph, Alvaro Espinosa, and Are You Johnny Ray? Do 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 do. Rick Cerrone. There's Sweet Lou. Greg Brock. Joe Orsolak. This is like a new pack. Ellis Burks. Checklist. Kevin Mitchell All-Star. Les Lancaster. Mark Guthrie. Billy Hatcher. Guillermo Hernandez. Don Carmen. Bob Tewksbury. Mike Davis. Luis Polonia. And Wes Gardner. Okay. It's our mission now. Where's the Juan Gonzalez? Where's the Juan Gonzalez? Juan Gonzalez rated rookie air card. That's what we're looking for. Jeff Russell. Greg Vaughn. Tim Burke. Dave Parker. Danny Tartable. Mike Sosha. Dave Rigetti. Rick Cerrone. Lou Whitaker. We just saw this pack. All right. We're running out of chances here. We got probably 8, 9, 10 packs. 10 packs to go. Glenn Davis. Larry Walker. Lance Johnson. The Rock. Danny Darwin. John Costello. Dickie Thon, awesome. Jack Armstrong. Joey Cora. Atlee Hammaker. Rick Reed. That guy again. Mark Grace. Sid Fernandez. Billy Swift. That one ripped horribly. Ripped horribly. Marty Barrett, Kirby Puckett, Roy Smith, Mike Devereaux, all these people. Marvell Wynn, Eric Davis, Mark Parent, Ken Daly, Von Hayes. Just garbage. A bunch of garbage. 8 packs. 8 packs to go. Looking for a Juan Gonzalez. You know what they always say? Takes Juan to know Juan. Doug Strange. Paul Ossenmacher. Mark Carrion. Jay Buhner. Wow, look at his face. Young Jay Buhner. Wow. Mookie. Gene Larkin. Willie Randolph. David Wells. David Boomer Wells. What year is this for him? Who knew? 2.40 ERA that year. Wow. Tim Laudner. Jeff Innes. Mike Greenwell. Rest in peace, sir. Joe Girardi. Boo. John Russell. Greg Litton. R.J. Reynolds. Little did you know, he started the tobacco company. Oops. Sorry. Hitting the camera again. Mark Grant. Scott Scudder. What a name. Look at that guy. Star written all over him. Ken Howell. Ken Caminiti. Drugs written all over him. Gene. Ken Gene Committee. Caminiti. I can talk. Scott Terry. Glenn Hoffman. Ron Karkovice. Oh, Andy Bennis. Dave Martinez. Todd Burns. Willie Wilson. Lenny Harris. Chuck Carey. Dennis Lamp. Come on. Where is he? Why am I not getting any Mark McGuire's or Jose Canseco's or anything here? Or my Juan Gonzalez that I want. Guillermo, Don Carmen, Bob Tewksbury, Julio Franco, Kelly Mann, Glenn Allen Hill, Gary Ward, Dave Stewart, Mike Tiny Felder, Mike Sharperson. I don't know if we're going to get it. This is a different pack. We have a chance. Greg Myers, Gerald Clark, and then we went to this. Willie Frazier, Eric Davis, Will Clark, Whitson, Paul Sorrento. Hey, John Olerud. Sweet. Jerry Reed, Curtis Wilkerson, Terry Kennedy, Tony Gwynn, Tony Castillo, David Justice, Brewer legend, George Canale, you. And that's in good shape. Bent to hell in the corner here. See this? Beauty. Good thing these cards aren't worth jack. All right. 4 more to go here. 4 more. 4 score. And 35 years ago, I opened some Donruss. Cecil Espy, Jack Howell, Kevin Gross, Dave Henderson, Jim Eisenreich, John Farrell. Wow. Ellis Burks, Mike Boddicker, Don Slott, Jeff Blauser, David Cohn, Phil Bradley, and the accountant. Ugh. This one is really stuck to the cards. Look at that. Just completely stuck. Whoever resealed these and stole my Juan Gonzalez's, I tell you, they really put some glue on there. Sweet Lou, Chris Sabo, Greg Agney, Jimmy Key, Harold Reynolds, Mike Fetters, Paul Kilgus, Greg Jeffries, Glenn Braggs, Don Robinson. There's the stud again. Bill Dorn, Will Clark, Devon White. I don't know if we're going to get it. Last 2 packs. Come on, right here. Pat Borders. Al Leiter. Steve Sachs. Barry Lyons. Mike Harkey. Can't believe we're not going to get one single one of the Juan Gonzalez. It's so sad. This is it. Tony Armas, Carlos Martinez, Mike Jeffcoat, Alex Sanchez, Wallace Johnson, Felix Jose. Doesn't look like it. I'm so sad. We end on John Smoltz, Hall of Famer. John Smoltz. All right. Well, that sucked. We really got ripped off there. Other than getting him. And definitely 2 Stan Javier's. Greg Vaughn. I like the Brewers. I'm a Brewers fan, so that's cool. All right. Well, if you like this stuff, you like the old school stuff and want it to be open, let me know. Give me an old comment. I want to remind you to please like and subscribe. And that is all I got for today. And I will say this. Go Brewers and peace.